There is a consistent difference between how reactive professionals and calm professionals experience the same environment. Reactive professionals respond to what is happening. They are fast, engaged, and often impressive in the moment, but they are always one step behind, processing what just occurred rather than what it is about to. Calm professionals see differently, not because they have more information. They usually have exactly the same information, but because they have the cognitive space to process it at a level that reactive people occupied with responding simply do not reach. They see the second order consequence, the emerging pattern, the long horizon's outcome, that the immediate noise is obscuring. There is not intuition, that is what calm makes possible. The problem with reactive environments is that they reward the wrong kind of thinking. Speed is valued, decisiveness is praised. The person who responds first, who has an answer ready, who moves without visible hesitation, that person looks capable. And in many environments, they get rewarded for it. But speed and decisiveness applied to incomplete thinking produce fast wrong answers. And fast wrong answers in complex environments are often more damaging than slow right ones. The professional who pauses, who takes the extra moment to consider what is not immediately obvious, is often misread as slower, less engaged, or less confident. What is actually happening is that they are doing something the reactive person is not. They are looking past the immediate event to what it means, where it leads, and what the right response actually is, rather than just the fastest one. Noise fills the space where that kind of insight lives. Reaction leaves no room for it. Calm creates it. Here is the reframe worth holding on to. Calm is not stillness. It is not the absence of thought or engagement. It is not a slow version of what reactive people do. Calm is expanded perception. When the internal noise, the urgency, the anxiety, the pressure to perform and respond is reduced, something happens to the quality of attention available. It widens. It reaches further. It picks up signals that were always present but that the reactive mind, occupied with its own noise, could not process. Think of it this way. In a loud room, you can only hear the conversation immediately around you. Step outside, reduce the noise, and you can hear much more. The information was always there. The noise was blocking it. Calm does not give you better information. It gives you better access to the information already available. And in most professional environments, the gap between what is already happening and what most people understand is happening is significant. Calm professionals live on the right side of that gap. Reactive professionals rarely know the gap exists. The first thing calm makes possible is second-order thinking. First-order thinking asks, what happens if I do this? It is immediate, direct, and most people do it automatically. Second-order thinking asks, and then what? What does that outcome produce? Who does it affect? And how do they respond? What does that response create? Where does this sequence end up 3 moves from now? Most reactive professionals stop at first order. They make the decision that solves the immediate problem and create 3 downstream problems they did not see coming. Calm professionals think in sequences, not because they are more intelligent, but because they have the cognitive space to follow the chain further before committing. This shows up quietly in decisions that seem conservative in the moment but prove prescient later. in positions that look passive until the sequence play out, in moves that made no obvious sense until the second and the third order consequences arrive. Calm does not make better decisions by thinking faster. It makes better decisions by thinking further. And further, over time, consistently outperforms faster. The second thing calm makes possible is pattern recognition. Patterns require time and stillness to become visible. They do not announce themselves. They emerge gradually across multiple events, multiple interactions, multiple data points that individually mean little but collectively mean a great deal. Reactive professionals experience events one at a time. Each event demands a response, and the response occupies all available attention. There is no space to step back and ask whether this event is part of something larger. Calm professional accumulates events without immediately resolving them into responses. They hold multiple data points simultaneously and wait for the pattern to emerge. They are comfortable with the ambiguity of not yet knowing because they understand that knowing too early often means knowing incorrectly. This is why calm professionals often appear to have better judgment about people, situations, and organizations. They are not making faster assessments, they are making later ones. Assessments informed by more data, held longer, processed more completely. Patterns only appear to those who are not too busy reacting to see them. Calm creates the condition for seeing them. And once you can see the pattern, the next move is usually obvious. The third thing calm makes possible is long horizon clarity. Short time horizons create urgency. When everything is measured in days or weeks, everything feels importance. And everything feels pressing. The signal to noise ratio collapses. There is no way to distinguish what genuinely matters from what merely feels immediate. Long-time horizons change their filter entirely. When you are thinking in years, when the question is not what do I do this week, but where does this lead in 3 years? Most of the noise that reactive professionals are occupied with simply stops being relevant. It stops being relevant because it does not survive the longer horizon. It is noise precisely because it has no meaningful consequence beyond the immediate moment. Calm professionals naturally operate on longer time horizons, not because they do not care about the immediate, but because they have learned that the immediate is rarely where the important things actually happen. The important things happen in the accumulation, in the compounding, in the quiet, consistent progress that does not show up in any single week but is undeniably over any significant stretch of time. Short horizons create urgency, long horizons create clarity. Calm makes the long horizon accessible. So here's what we have covered. 3 things that calm makes possible. Second order thinking, pattern recognition, and long horizon clarity, and why each of them produces better outcomes than the reactive alternative. Second order thinking sees further than the immediate decision. Pattern recognition accumulates meaning across events that reactive professionals experience in isolation. Long horizon clarity filters out the noise that short time horizon make feel essential. Together, these are not separate cognitive skills, they are one integrated way of processing the world, a way that consistently produces better judgment, better timing, and better outcomes than the faster, noisier, alternative. And here is what makes this particularly significant for quiet professionals. These are not skills that require performance, visibility, or volume to develop. They require exactly the opposite. They require the kind of sustained, unhurried attention that calm makes possible. You are not behind because you are quiet. You are ahead because of it. Most people just cannot see it yet. If what we covered today resonated, if you recognize yourself in the way calm professional process the world, there is a free resource in the description below. Built specifically for professionals like you, it is a practical starting point for building authority and visibility on your own terms, quietly, deliberately, without noise. The link is in the description. Take your time getting there. Most people will scroll past it quickly. You already know that is not how the best decisions get made.